Do you think that there's room for activism in the classroom or more community-based pedagogy?
I do think there's room. You just need to be mindful about playing devil's advocate. Now, I am not saying that someone should say, well, what will be good about this new president? I'm thinking about the array of subject matter that you have expertise in. And I'm also quite cognizant that, there's a professor watch list in the United States to report your professor, right? And so yesterday on Twitter, there was troll professor watch list. So for scholars, especially contingent faculty in the United States, they need to be mindful of this political backdrop that they're now working, right? We saw an adjunct get queried by the police. He was in custody, and it was over some sarcastic tweets. This is the world that American scholars or scholars in the United States are living in. I know when I taught in the United States, I was always very careful not to be hyper-partisan. I often would get evaluations from students saying, we know she's a feminist, but we never were 100% sure if she was just a moderate Democrat or she was really good at being fair. Whereas here in Canada, I've been more vocal about how I vote or I answer students' questions. I know, though, that if I was in the United States and was pre-tenure, I would have to be extremely careful. Students are now taking out their cameras, splicing alleged video from a professor and reporting that person. And they might just disagree, or they might be sharing it elsewhere. So then the professor is vulnerable to all sorts of harassment.